Good morning, master traders and money magnets. It's your Uncle Charters. Hope you guys are having an awesome 3-day weekend. Happy Labor Day. Short week coming up, 4 days of trading, new month coming. And I have to say, on average, September tends to be a much more volatile month. It tends to pick a direction and stick with it for a few days or a few weeks. Whatever madness that we were dealing with in August, usually that madness does not continue into September because September has its own craziness. September has an average tendency of giving us a trend move for the first week, maybe first couple of weeks of September, and then somewhere in the middle of September it flips the script. But either way, the most important thing that I'm looking forward to this month is some good old volatility coming back, some emotions coming back, whether it's fear or greed, we shall see. But the one thing I can say for sure is that we ended August with the false breakout setup. You can see for most of August that 646.5-ish area was a tough resistant level. We finally cleared it towards the end of the month on the 27th of August, went and hit the next fib extension level, only for it to be for nothing to end the month. So headed into September, yes, I am expecting some volatility, but which way will the market go? Will it go down, multi-day, maybe multi-week move to the downside? Or will we continue to set new records? Well, if the plan is to set new records, that level that we lost last Friday must recapture at 646.5. We must go clear 648 and 649.3, which was hit last Thursday, if we are to set new all-time highs. Now, if volatility comes back, the 15-minute chart should be fine to use. And we'll know if volatility is good depending on the VIX. We want to see the VIX above 16 and clear the next resistance level at 17.5 and 19. That's how we'll know. Use the VIX to help you gauge the SPY. If VIX is low, we're likely going to have some low volatility, which means it's better to just scalp a quick level to level move. We take what we can get. But if VIX is rising, volatility is rising, that's a good sign that we can possibly get some volatile move, maybe even some home run moves where it would be worth holding our runners. So if it's going to be bullish, 646.5, 648, and 649.3 should clear, and the 15-minute chart should be good enough. But let's hope volatility comes back, because if it is bearish and we break down 645 and we break down 643, that's bearish. It should send us down to 641 and 639.5. Those are some fib levels I have to the downside, but you also see this uptrend line that I have that connects August 1st, August 20th, and August 21st low. To break it down, we need a breakdown of 641. So below 641, this false breakout that we had from last Friday, that would be the bearish follow you'd want to see, which is break down 641, break down that multi-week trend line, and it should send us to 638, 636, and maybe all the way down to 633. Moving on to triple Q, you can see that it pretty much back tested this downtrend line that I had here. If we are to trust any bounce, supports at 569.7, and if it's a true bounce, 571, 573, and 574.6 must recapture to send us back up to 578 and 580. If we break down 569.7 and 568, that would put triple Q in a false breakout mode based on this downtrend line. And also, we could still have that head and shoulder pattern to play out. It could be a lopsided head and shoulder pattern, a deformed head and shoulder pattern, but it's still possible. But it'll need to break down 569.7 and 568 to send us lower, possibly down to this uptrend line, this green uptrend line here, which would hit 563 to be retested again. I would say bears are in full control below that level, but trust no bounce unless we can stay above 569.7 and clear 571, 573, and especially 574.6. We need above that level to invalidate any potential head and shoulder pattern. NVDA, well, I recently readjusted this trend line here, this little green trend line I have from June 23rd low connected to August 20th and August 29th low. And I'm wondering if NVDA can break it down tomorrow, because if there is a bounce, 174.5, 176, and 178 must recapture to put those higher targets back in play. That's how I would trust the bounce. But if it does not clear those those levels and we start breaking down 173, 171, that's a breakdown. Should give us another $10 to $15 move to the downside. I wouldn't be surprised if we go hit 164.5, go even lower, but we shall see. Here is Tesla. Beautiful pullback that we had these last few days. It went and hit the 20 daily moving average, which is around 332.5. If we are to trust any bounce, 335, 337, and 340 must recapture. And I would trust the bounce from the 20 daily moving average, possibly go higher. But if it fails and we lose that 20, I also have a fib level at 331.5 and the 200 daily moving average is at 330. I tell you, if we lose those levels, the selling pressure that we had last week is going to continue into this week. And we're going to start off September very bearish for Tesla. If we lose the 20, the fib level at 331.5 and the 200 daily moving average, it's going to be very bearish. So we need to clear 335, 337, and 340 to get a bounce going back to the upside. Here is coin, not really doing much, still overall in chop mode. The range that I'm watching is August 22nd's candle. That was a beautiful bullish day that day, and it looked like it was trying to put in a bottom that day, but as you guys can see, it in hindsight, it actually didn't lead to anything but chop. The chop range that I still have is at 304.5 up to 313. We're still closing within that range. We had a few pokes out. We poked above it, we poked below that range a couple times last week, but we need those official closes and we can possibly end one chop. The bigger chop would be from this candle from August 22nd, which is 297 up to 322. So we want to start seeing like trend moves again. Well, trend moves comes when candles aren't within the range of its previous candles or its preceding candles. When it does that, that's a sign of the chop phase. So like I said, 304.5 up to 313 is the first chop range, and then the bigger chop range is 297 to 322. So we need to break it, and if it does, we can talk more about being bullish or bearish, but right now it is in the chop range. And the good news is we have the levels. We just have to be patient and allow the market makers to let us know when they want to break it, and when they do, that's the way we bet to. So in other words, we're above 313 and we're above 322, I would be bullish, and if we're below 304.5 and we're below 297, I would be bearish. Here's IWM, also had his own false breakout setup. We had a level at 235.5 that was a fib level, cleared it on August 27th, retested that level on August 28th, but we lost it the next day after that. So definitely watch 235.5. Below it, we can be in pullback mode with 234, 232, and 230 in play. But if we recapture it, then the breakdown we had from last Friday is invalidated, and that would put 238 or higher back in play. And here is the VIX. I want us to watch this very carefully because the VIX can let us know if day trading will be worth it for the day. Now, it's not always a guarantee, but it does help us gauge the SPY. And what we want to see is the VIX go up, because the more it goes up, it will be good for volatility. So if we see it below 16 and below 14.7, we may want to lower our expectations for a potential move and maybe limit our trading so we don't get faked out. But if we see the VIX up above 16, clearing 17.5 and clearing 19, that's a very good sign. That is exactly what we want to see so that we can get some nice tradable moves on SPY, QQQ, and all the other beautiful ticker symbols that we love. Guys, it's a new month. August is known to be a choppy month, and a choppy month was what we pretty much got. Up and down moves, low volatility, intraday action. There was some really great days in SPY. It just wasn't consistent as we'd like. And in September, I'm expecting it to be a little bit better, or a lot better. So we'll see. Fingers crossed that September will be better than August, and I believe it is. I believe it will. I believe our best trading days are still ahead of us. I am a money magnet, and so are all my viewers. I love y'all. Peace.